Please join me in welcoming to the Wilder stage Sandi Tan, guest curator for this evening, and our very special guest for the next film we're going to see, Ione Skye.
Hi, thank you so much for letting me make you show that crazy movie.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful print, I have to say. It was like, I just wanted to see it, so I made you guys show it. Thank you.
Thank you
for
for
projecting it so beautifully.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah.
Jim always does such a great job. Let's
Yeah.
give a round of applause for Jim.
Amazing.
Seriously.
And the other thing I wanted to say before the film, but all of you probably know this because all of you, you wouldn't be here because you're all nerds. It's kind of moving to see this because Guillaume Depardieu and Katerina Golubeva, the two leads, are no longer with us. They died young, and they were, I guess, just crystallized in this beautiful, crazy film and in their youthful, I don't know, best selves, I guess.
Yeah. Best, worst selves.
Yeah, that's worst.
The film, the origin of the film, I don't know if you wanted to talk about that at all. It's based on a Melville novel that I think was on the tail end of his greatest novel. And the title of this film is kind of obscure. Do you remember what it stands for? It's Pierre ou les...
in French, yeah.
Yeah.
Ambiguities.
Yeah. And X is in reference to the 10th and final draft of the script.
Yeah, and I'm glad it was the French version that they used, Pola X, rather than the English title, which would have made it Pota X. Yeah. And that would be less glamorous. Anyway, but thanks for staying for this. Yeah. Oh, I mean, it was a rare screening. I'm glad you were here for it. And then we're going to show River's Edge, your first film.
Yeah, my first film.
Yeah. You were 15, right?
I was 15. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you want to talk about how that opportunity came to you?
Well, I grew up here, and my brother was like auditioning and acting and stuff. He was older, and I was just in school, very creative, but had no ambitions to be an actor, although I loved film. And it worked out that I loved well, now I'm blanking on the movie that Dennis Hopper was in that just came out before the really dark Blue Velvet.
Yeah.
Had just so this was in my what I liked as a teen. I was not goth, but I liked film and I loved that kind of film. So when my brother auditioned for it and said you should audition for this, and actually I don't know how he told the casting director or something or other. I don't know how he wrangled it, and I probably wouldn't have, but when I read the sides, not like I knew, I don't know how I knew, but it felt from his scenes that he used to audition for were really corny. And when I saw this, I was like, this is cool. It wasn't exactly how I thought a teenager spoke, but I could tell that it was dark and edgy. And, I was already, I don't know. I had I shouldn't have been that selective. I had nothing, but I was like, I'll go for this because it's cool. And, and it turned out Fred Elms, who shot Blue Velvet, shot this. Yeah. So that was sort of, between all of that world and stuff I was in, I pushed myself because I was very shy. So I pushed myself to do, and any movie that had a bunch of teens, and it's probably still, all the teen actors in Hollywood kind of go berserk, and there have been some I can remember, but this was a lot. Every teen wanted to be in this.
And yet the lead was an unknown named Keanu.
Right, I know.
Yeah, it's one of his biggest on-screen moments.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Tim Hunter had an eye for brunettes. I guess he had, Keanu was in Tex. I guess he was in Tex, this other movie, or maybe not. No, not Tex.
Maybe in a small role, but that's 82.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Matt Dillon.
Yeah, Matt Dillon.
So another beautiful, right?
Because I remember Keanu was in a couple of TV movies.
That's right.
This because he caught my eye.
Yes. Yes.
He was in this.
That's what I'm trying to say. So what I'm trying to say is his style was very and also Meg Tilly, who was also in that. That's someone he cast and all in text. That's what I'm getting confused. So I think I was sort of like the look he liked or something. Anyway, but yeah,
I'm thinking a little bit. I know that you weren't here to see the film, a lot of Pola X, which we just watched. But Sandy, I'm curious how your memory of River's Edge, because I'm not sure when you saw it last, but how that film kind of speaks to what we just watched, because there's this certain sort of thread, for at least for me, there's this thread of nihilism that runs through both of them, and it's interesting that they are 13 years apart, and yet there's still this like youthful listlessness or sort of like ambivalence that I think comes through in both of them.
Yeah, I don't know. Uh, I think cause when I first watched River's Edge, I was a teenager in Singapore, I guess, and I watched on this fuzzy videotape that was like smuggled to me by a cousin in Florida who went to like Blockbuster and taped 3 movies onto one VHS tape and then shipped it to me. So it was like kind of a like it was like an object from outer space. It was this thing I read a lot about because I read American film. I read all these magazines writing about this film that was like so nihilistic and dangerous for kids and stuff, and I was really excited to see it, and it kind of lived up to my expectations. But everything else since then was disappointing. You know what I mean? Like since like in terms of an American indie film, this was what that kind of set the high bar for American indies. And after that, there's a lot of kind of lame. I mean, 80s. The 80s was filled with not very good films. Although you were in like great films.
well, the soundtrack also
After.
River's Edge. It's like kind of like I don't know. There was a level of
Grungy.
sophistication. Well, grungy, and then there was also I can't remember. I remember the composer. I don't know. So the director, I think. I remember he gave me like Balzac and all these kind of heavy books to read or whatever.
Tim Hunter.
Yeah.
Good,
So
okay.
I think he had a level, so I don't know what that's saying about it, but it kind of had a, I don't know. But
We were hoping that Tim Hunter would show up actually.
Oh
but,
yeah,
We
yeah.
invited him.
He was very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it worked. That movie.
It was also funny because this was a film that introduced so many new words into film lovers' vocabulary. I mean, like Keanu, Ione, Crispin. Like names we'd never heard before, and suddenly they became.
Oh yeah,
They,
yeah.
they just.
I know Keanu
They
and
became-
Ione. I think they like tried on calling us both to the set and like blending our names together, like to one name, but it didn't stick. But I was like, that's corny, but I hope it sticks because that's kind of cool. But it didn't. But yeah.
What was your memory of working? I mean, obviously, being a young actor and being able to be even in like the same room as Dennis Hopper must have been pretty.
Yeah, we were all
Incredible.
very excited, and he was sort of cleaned up at that point, and he came in for the table read, or I don't think it was like a formal table. We were just all meeting one day in I don't know, an office, and he had like a briefcase and a suit, and because we kind of had like Easy Rider or Out of the Blue, whatever was in our mind that he would be kind of crazy, but he wasn't, and he was very nice, and yeah, I knew him a little bit after. I really liked him personally. But yeah, he was great. He was just
And I was reading that they were trying to like shoot this around Sacramento, but then they wound up shooting in like La Cañada and Upland, or no.
we
was
did
it
go to
Sunland?
Sacramento
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
We did.
You
we
did
did.
too. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
we did. We shot at the American River in Sacramento, and that
Okay.
was I think that's the only time I've ever been. But I've been wanting to go back because it's kind of amazing. And we shot a lot of the houses and stuff in Sacramento.
Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But
So, wow.
but the school and stuff was like La Cañada and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, we did go to Sacramento, and yeah, that was cool. And stayed in bummy little hotel motel, and it was good.
When was the last time you saw this movie?
Yeah, probably, like maybe 10 years ago. It's something, there's a lot of films that I can't watch, like Say Anything for some reason. I made
Really?
myself watch it. Isn't it weird? I don't know why, but for some reason, not that I don't like it, but I feel like it brings back funny memories or something, but I can always watch this objectively, River's Edge. Like I can always watch it as a film lover. and just enjoy it. Whereas some things you just, like it's when you see yourself as a kid and you know how it is, like you like, that's my voice, like you freak. But in this I always can watch. But yeah, maybe there was a double screening. I was trying to remember. It was a Gus Van Sant film, but I can't remember if it was Drugstore Cowboy or My Own Private Idaho or something like 10, 15 years ago. They did it with this. But yeah.
Where was that
I
screening?
think San Francisco. And Crispin came, but yeah, it was fun.
Does anyone know where Crispin is?
Well, his Instagram, it looks like he's in like Czechoslovakia or something, but I don't know if he really lives there or if it's like a whole. We became very good friends, and he was great. He was totally out there, but like amazing. His apartment was in the La Fauntleroy, that old in Hollywood, this old apartment building, and he painted it maybe dark gray. I don't know. It was very cool, but he was, he's really a character for real.
What was his energy like when he wasn't performing?
He's just, he's stranger than in this movie in real life, but like so nice, really nice. And I like strange,
I am curious how many of us here tonight are seeing this for the first time, are seeing River's Edge for the first time tonight. Oh, okay.
It's very good.
That's
yeah,
exciting.
So this is a
Yeah.
weird this should be after, but it's really good.
And actually, I'm kind of curious, like, how many people were watching Polo X for the first time? Oh wow, cool! That's so
great.
cool.
Yeah, I know it is. It's available on DVD. You can. It's accessible, but
Polo X?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's findable. But
Findable,
Yeah. I didn't have to dig too hard to find it to review it, but this print. I don't know when the last time, like in looking through our traffic records of the last time it's been booked or sent out somewhere. It's been a while.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. It may have played in another city, but I can't remember the last
Right.
time it's played in LA.
And I hope this one is as beautiful as that.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the condition report was favorable. So
Anything else you want us to know before we watch this?
There'll be more questions after, but
Yeah,
I don't think
Ben,
we'll be here.
Your husband Ben, have you've seen this recently? Have you?
No, I think they did something at Sundance 7 or 8 years ago. We went to. They did a screening, like a revival type thing. And it's amazing. Yeah, I love this movie.
Yeah, it's really, there's some comedy. When it came out, people were shocked, and we thought I remember the cast watched the first screening with an audience, and we were laughing. We thought it was amazing, and the audience was just like, they didn't, because Crispin was really out there, but we thought it was funny. And then in a way, he's amazing. And maybe he's in a different movie in a way, but not really. And it sort of aged where it works out.
well, I think part of the reactions were mixed, and specifically like regional reactions were, I think, mixed, because this is based, for those of you who don't know, on a true story. It's
Right.
loosely based on something that actually happened, without saying
that's
any
very good.
spoilers for those who haven't seen it.
Anyway, it's great. Excited you get to see it.
Should we watch it now?
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
so
do it.
we're actually going to take a 10-minute break to give you time to stretch your legs and use the facilities, but we'll be back in 10 minutes to start River's Edge. And thank you both so much for being here, Ione and